He hasn't put out a hit. We don't know the validity of this FBI moving a witness and how that witness was going to be in danger. There's no indication that Mr. Davis has any power with any gang or any people out there to go ahead and order a hit or anything like that. And so those are all speculation by the state and should not be considered in a Nevia hearing, which should just be the focus. Do we have legitimate sources?
Okay. State, did you want to be heard regarding your counter argument?
Yes, Judge.
On motion, I apologize.
And I'll be brief as it relates to that. Yeah, there has been a significant change in circumstances. You know, obviously the state disagreed with the court's prior ruling, but I think there was probably two reasons behind it. One was, look, there's a number of statements by the defendant, but what exactly is the corroboration? And then the other one is one I don't quite grasp from a legal standpoint, but the temporal relationship between the arrest and the crime, right? That 27 years, kind of something about it. But when you look at our motion to reconsider, there's only one temporal relationship that really matters, which is in 2006, there is a live witness who puts the four people the suspect says in Las Vegas leaving to go harm Suge and Tupac Shakur. That witness is corroborated by records from a hotel that establishes he was here, and we know that he's a member of this gang. But the most important temporal relationship here is he makes that statement 2 years before any confession the defendant ever made. And that's the reason why I put the 2008 in there. And I know there may be some litigation about what exactly that 2008 statement may or may not be used for. But certainly in 2000.
They talking about the Corey Edwards interview that he did with Ben Crump. I bet you. Remember they had that show? Man, but he said, yo, the eye in the sky don't lie. Orlando wasn't in the car. He definitely say that. And he said he never seen no white Cadillac.
In 2009, when he makes a fully admissible confession to those facts, he puts the same four people in the car that an eyewitness has him leaving a bar to go harm Tupac and Suge on the night in question. So now it's not just a guy who's confessed 37,000 times to killing Tupac Shakur. You now have corroboration long before he ever said that from a witness that he wouldn't have known would said that gives the exact same factual pattern. And I suggest to you, there are a few cases where you can get a full confession and not have the proof as evidence presumption is great. I understand why in this case the court probably had some reticence. But now that we know that there is a live witness that places Mr. Davis with the three other suspects leaving to harm Mr. Shakur long before he ever confessed, the proof has to be evident and the presumption must be great at this point. And I would submit it to the court.
Can you just answer for me why this wasn't presented at the bail hearing?
I can. We didn't have these records. There was, I don't want to say a lack of cooperation necessarily from law enforcement in other jurisdictions during the course of this, but this has been a highly complex situation involving Christopher Wallace, the lawsuits, and getting those records. Ultimately, we just received, as I put in the motion, we just received between the time of the last bail hearing and the time of this court, this particular.
So Greg Kading, since the last time, which we know that's the dirty pig from Compton, like he sabotaged it since the last bail hearing to this bail hearing. Now Greg Kading went and gave them all his files. He talking about, it was a lack of communication with other sources. Who, LAPD? Now, that shit is illegal, that Greg Kading. Watch, Greg Kading gonna get this case thrown out. That shit gotta be illegal, bro. I don't think he can do that. And he's retired. This is gonna be a Young Thug case. This is gonna be a Young Thug case. You watch. If you pay attention to what he's saying, they just got the files from this nigga Gray Kading, man.
Steve, as I put in the motion, we just received between the time of the last bail hearing and the time of this court, this particular hearing, we just received an enormous amount of records that we supplied over to Mr. Arnold from the Christopher Wallace investigation. And this report was within those thousands and thousands of pages that we had. And then we went out. There are other confirming people, but the only one we can establish that this witness is currently still alive at this point is this particular witness. There are other things that fully corroborate the story that Mr. Davis said long before Mr. Davis ever said them. It's just at this point, we have not yet confirmed that we have a live witness that can actually testify to it. And I put that in the motion as well.
Mr. Arnold.
I didn't understand that last part. We're talking about Corey Edwards, right?
That's the
Yeah.
witness that we.
Right.
That's
And he's
within
not
this-
alive?
He's alive.
Okay. And so, in regards to Mr. Edwards, again, gave a statement in 2006 that he identified the 4 people that were in the car and he identified them in Vegas. That is not a change of circumstances in regards to this case that was under the meaning of the Nevada Rule 7B that the court can reconsider its bail. Basically, all he did was corroborate what has been said by Mr. Davis in his multiple interviews and by the state in their presentation of the case. And so a corroborating witness, that happens all the time. It shouldn't cause the court to go back and review its bail. Mr. Edwards, he's not reliable. He made this almost 10 years, this statement 10 years after the incident. And so bottom line, he could have heard that through hearsay, rumors. I don't know how he came up with this information, but that's subject to cross-examination at the time of trial, and it shouldn't be considered to look at the bail again. Again, as you stated, Your Honor, he has a presumption of innocence. We should be allowed to discuss that presumption of innocence at the time of trial, but still, we can't just shirk it aside for the sake of this statute of Nevada that allows us to look at this presumption. You already made your decision on that, and we ask that you abide by that decision and remember that my client is presumed innocent.
All right. Excellent arguments on both sides. Ultimately, this is a little bit more wide-ranging, especially from the defense perspective of what was covered in the briefing. So there's a couple things I need to look at before I issue an order, okay?
One last thing, Your Honor, I apologize. Someone provided me with the site. It was 102 Nevada 928. I apologize.
I did find that one.
Oh, okay.
So thank you though. Thanks for looking that up. All right, I'll let you guys know the next day or two, my opinion or my decision regarding both. Thank you. We talked a little bit about discovery. Anything else? That Christopher Wallace discovery seems pretty wide ranging.
I think we have turned over everything. We do have one last thing that was turned over to us that we need to review. I don't think it has anything relevant to Mr. Shakur's murder. It involves a totally different case, but I just want to, and I've gone through about 2/3 of it. Haven't seen anything that we need to disclose, but I'm working diligently to make sure that even through this unrelated case file, it was turned over to us. So I want to go through it and personally make sure that Mr. Arnold has anything that would be exculpatory or inculpatory.
Okay.
Yo, these niggas is playing dirty. Yo, they gonna try to put the Biggie shit on Southside, bro. Hey, yo, man. That dude, Pork Butt, is a dirty mother effer, boy. Woo! That dude is dirty.
Mr. Arnold, how are you progressing? toward that November 3rd trial date.
I'm concerned about this box. I just want to see it. I mean, we just got the box, the Greg Keating box that he was talking about. We're going through it. We should have our review done before the end of the summer. I'm just concerned another box comes and we have to do further investigation on that.
So as we sit right now, be ready for that date because they have a death penalty case trailer.
Can I say 30 more days and then make that
We'll do a 30-day
determination?
status check then on trial readiness.
How long
And that'll be,
That'll be August 20th. And
Yeah, address the court.
I think we're done.
I got something to say.
You want to say to Mr. Arnold, and he can say, if he represents you, so ultimately you represent yourself, you can talk at will, but if somebody
Mr.
represents you.
Greg Kading had them boxes at his house for 15 years in his attic, doing all kind of TV interviews. That the boxes should not be allowed in the
He's
cases.
just gonna talk about it.
The boxes should not be allowed. The tainted evidence, everything. The man, he broke a proffer agreement, and he broke the law, all kind of stuff. The boxes should not be allowed. He's been at his house for 15 years, and he's doing interviews, going in the boxes. Let me see here. Ooh, you can see it on any internet site that this man been going in the boxes for years. And he's and a judge, federal judge in LA did a 142-page thing about him. Look it up on the internet.
So I think what the state said ultimately is that they don't think there's gonna be anything in those boxes that they're gonna use.
And you just use something in them boxes. They just used something in them boxes from 1996, and they know they did it.
Yeah, no, certainly we are.
They're not only ugly on the outside, but they're ugly on the inside. They crashed my family in this. They did my daughter first. They did my son. Then they just did my wife the last year. What's the name? Told me about these. David Westbrook told me about these dudes. He said they're not only ugly on the outside, but they ugly on the inside too. These two dudes right here.
All right. At this point, there's nothing before me to exclude any sort of evidence. There's been no motion filed about the proffer. I don't know if Mr. Arnold plans on challenging that or not. Ultimately, that decision is up to him. So we'll see you guys back on that 30-day date.
that was August 20th at 9 a.m.
All right, well,
At that time, we need to know if we're gonna go on the 3rd.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
All right.
Greg Kading, he's gonna he can't even testify. Like he's so like dirty, corrupted that I think he can't even testify in the case anymore because of what happened with him. But that's dirty, man. That's dirty. Now why are they giving him the Christopher Wallace information? What's in the Christopher Wallace information ain't nothing but Reggie telling them that Southside killed Biggie in retaliation for not getting their money for Tupac. That's Reggie. That's Reggie. That's what's in the Christopher Wallace. So that's what murder rap is. Greg Kading running down on Reggie after Russell Poole said, oh, I apologize. I shouldn't have put it on Suge. It wasn't Suge. It's this motherfucking dirty pig over here. And then dies. And then when Greg Kading gets the case and he runs up on Reggie, Reggie hit him with the Jake for the fake, hit him with the decoy. Oh, it was Southside. Yeah, they killed Biggie. It's like, first of all, how would he even know that, right? That's how Greg Kading effed up. He either he's down with Reggie, which is a strong possibility, or he know now that Reggie's lying and he got to stay with his story because he done made too much goddamn money off that bullshit ass Southside killed Biggie and they chilling in the party with him. Now they went and they giving up these files from that same bullshit ass story to give to them. You know what I'm saying? And y'all got to give up that discovery. Y'all got to give up that discovery. Now y'all involve the Biggie case with the Tupac case. Yeah, that might be good for Keefe D. Now he could drag that dirty ass cop pork butt. He could drag his ass right in it now. Now that they just gave up them files and that Biggie shit, watch how he gonna get his ass dragged in. He already testified in the grand jury, so his ass gonna be on the stand later in this shit anyway, rat bastard. But watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. And listen what they said. The feds moved Corey Edwards, which means the feds is back on this case, right? Which means either the feds is getting ready to reopen the Biggie case, or the feds is going to get involved in this Tupac case. Because why would the feds be moving Corey Edwards right now? Why is goddamn Corey Edwards getting federal protection? Somebody, a few niggas get ready to get locked up. It's about to be a RICO or some type of murder conspiracy, and a bunch of people's getting ready to get locked up for these murders. If Corey Edwards is under federal protection right now, and they trying to say Keefe D threatened him or whatever, bro, this shit about to be federal. Ain't no way the feds is giving this nigga Corey federal protection if this shit ain't getting ready to be federal. Now let's listen to what Corey Edwards said in his interview with